The first step in solving this scrambled Rubik's Cube is to create a white cross. So the white logo side is going to be our top face, and we're going to put the white edges around it. And the key thing is that these edges need to match the centers on the sides as well. So we've got white and orange lined up with orange, white and green, and the red and the blue. So we're going to start with the scrambled cube, and the first thing I do, I'm going to keep this white face on the top, and I'm going to look on the bottom and see if there are any white pieces already down there. So here's one that's white and blue, and I would want to match them up with the blue center. In this case it already is, so I can give it 2 turns to move it to the front. Now it's starting it lining up for the cross, and it's matched with its color center. On the bottom here we've got a red white, so I'm going to turn the bottom face so it lines up with the red center. Give it 2 turns so it matches with the top. Okay, there aren't any others on the bottom, but here's an orange white here, so I'm going to move it down to the bottom, move it out of the way so I can put this cross part back up and don't mess that up. Now I can match this with the orange center and turn it up to the top. And then finally we have this green white one. I'm going to show you how you can flip it over. So in this case we've got the green on the top and the white on the edge matched up with the green center, and I want to change, just flip those colors over. So the pattern or algorithm we're going to use for that is to put the piece I want to move in my right hand, and my right side is going to go towards me, which is a counterclockwise move. The up face goes to the left clockwise, the front face goes counterclockwise, and then the up face goes back counterclockwise as well. Now I have the top cross, and it's all matched up with the correct center pieces. Next we're going to take our white cross and turn the cube into having solid white on the top. And the key thing with this is we also need to make sure that this top layer is also the correct colors that match the center pieces. So to do that, we're going to look on the bottom row of the cube to see if we have pieces down here that have a corner, just 3 colors, that include white. So like this one is blue, orange, and white. So we would turn this bottom row so it lines up between the 2 center pieces that match the colors on it. In this case it's already there. Blue, orange, white. It's between the blue and the orange. Then the pattern we're going to use for all of our corners is to do right counterclockwise, then the down face goes counterclockwise. Then we kind of undo what we just did. So we put the right side back where it was, and we move the bottom back over where it was as well. And that piece moved up there. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times, however. All right, here's another one that is red, blue, and white. So we turn the bottom face so it lines up between the red and the blue, and we do that same pattern. So it's right counterclockwise, the down face goes counterclockwise, then we put it back clockwise and clockwise down there. There it is. All right, here is orange, green, and white. So we're going to turn so it lines up between the orange and the green. Because the color's on the bottom of the cube this time, it's going to take more than one set of the algorithm to make it turn. So we're going to go right inverted, down inverted, right, and downside. And there's that corner we're manipulating. So we're going to do it again. Right, down, and then right, and down, put it back, and here it is. So we do it one more time, and it moves up to the top. Our next one is right here with red, green, and white. So we're going to do that same pattern. And that makes our T's with the white side completely solved. Our next step is to solve the cube so we get this middle layer solved as well. So we have our T that we had with the white side solved that's lined up with the centers. We're going to turn our cube upside down, and I'm going to be looking for pieces on this top layer that have 2 colors, and we're looking for colors that aren't yellow. So here's one that is red and green. So we're going to line that up with the red center and red and green. Because the green side is over on the right, that means I want this red-green piece to move to the right. So I'm going to follow a pattern that makes the top face, the up face, moves clockwise, the right face clockwise. Then we undo what we just did. So the top face goes back where it was, and the right face goes back where it was. Then we go the up face counterclockwise, and the front face goes counterclockwise, and then we undo what we just did by doing the up face back clockwise, and the front face goes back clockwise as well. And that piece that was here is now here on the side. Then I look for another set on the top that has two colors that aren't including yellow, and here is the blue one, so it's blue-red. So I lined it up so that it matched to make kind of an upside down T here, and I look at it, this one is red with blue, and then I want to move it to the right. And in the solution guide there are two patterns here, and there's one that shows if I want to move the piece to the right, I'm going to follow this pattern, and if I want to move the piece to the left, then I'm going to follow this pattern. So in addition to memorizing the algorithms here, there is also the solution guide that will help you to remember what you're doing. But basically you're doing it like up, right, and then you undo what you just did. Then you go up front, and then you undo what you just did. And then if you're going to the left side, then you're going up left, and then you undo it, up front, and then you undo it. So let's go ahead and move this blue-red one to the right. So I'm going to go up, right, and then I'm going to undo what I just did. Then I'm going to go counterclockwise, up, front, and then I'm going to reverse what I just did by going up, front. All right, I look for another piece. Here's blue and orange. This time it's going to go to the left, so I'm going to follow the pattern of up, left, and then I reverse it. Then I go up clockwise, front clockwise, and then I reverse it with counterclockwise, counterclockwise. And that almost matched everybody up. And here is green, orange, so it's going to move to the left. So I go counterclockwise up, left counterclockwise, and then up clockwise, left clockwise. Then I go up counterclockwise, up clockwise, front clockwise, up counterclockwise, and front counterclockwise. And that matches up my pieces all the way around. Now that we have the white side and the middle layer solved, we're going to be looking for a yellow cross on the top. Sometimes you'll get lucky and this cross will be there as soon as you're done with this middle layer, but you could also have three other different patterns. You might have an angle, which means you have the centerpiece and two parts of the yellow cross, because we're looking just at the crosses here, not at the cube, at the corners. So we've got an angle. You could have a horizontal line, or we're not looking at the corners, so you could have a horizontal line, or you could only have the center cube. Now this also has corners, but all we care about is the cross right now. So depending on which one of these orientations you have, you're going to be following one of these three algorithms. If you have the centerpiece, you're following this top one. If you have this angle, you're following this one. Or if you're in state 4, which is the horizontal line, you're going to follow that bottom one. Now the thing is, after you go through the pattern, you're going to have to look at your cube again and see what it is and then redo the algorithm. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with the stripe here. So I'm going to follow this pattern here, and I'm going to go, the front goes clockwise, the right goes clockwise, the up face goes clockwise, and then I undo what I did by going the right counterclockwise, the up counterclockwise, and the front counterclockwise. And then there is my yellow cross. Now that we have our cross, we're going to solve to get all of the yellow on top. And we're not necessarily matching up the corners or the edges right now, we're just looking for all yellow on top. So in our solution guide, you'll see there are three different arrangements we might have. This one says if no corner cubes are yellow on the top, I'm going to line up a yellow piece so it's in this left-hand side. If I have one corner cube that's yellow, I'm going to match it so it matches this pattern here. Sometimes we call this the fish, and we put the fish head in our left hand. And this one says if any two corner cubes are yellow, we don't worry about where they are, but we match up so there's one yellow facing us this way. Now this is the key thing where it doesn't show the corner cubes being yellow in the book, but you do need to know that if any two corner cubes are yellow, then this is the one you're going for. So the cube that I'm working on right now has no corner cubes yellow, so I want to arrange it so I have a yellow one in my left hand. So that would mean just turning my cube till I get this yellow in my left hand. So then I'm going to follow this pattern here. That's going to go That, okay? So here's how it works. I'm going to go right clockwise, the up face goes clockwise, right face counterclockwise, up face clockwise, right clockwise, 2 turns of the top face clockwise, and then the right side counterclockwise. Now I ended up with that fish head. So I reorient the cube so it matches, so the fish head is in my left hand, and I do the same pattern again. So sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times to do this till we get all the yellow on top. And there it is. Now that we have all of the yellow on top, we want to make sure our corners are in the right orientation as well. So this is the cube I've been working on here, and we're going to see if we have any corners that are correct. And since we've got 2 reds that are correct here, then we're going to turn that so it lines up with the red side. So now this is a correct corner and this is a correct corner. We're going to put that in the back of the cube, and we're going to follow this pattern in the solution guide here. So I'm going to go right inverted, the front goes clockwise, right side counterclockwise, the back face goes twice counterclockwise, the right side goes clockwise, front counterclockwise, right counterclockwise, the back side goes twice again clockwise, right side twice clockwise, and then the up face goes 1 time counterclockwise. Now I have those corners all in the correct orientation. We now have 1 step left where we can take our cube that is almost solved and turn it into the solved Rubik's Cube. So since I have one side that is already completely solved here, I'm going to put that in the back of my cube, and I'm going to look at the colors that I have here. So I've got a blue, and that one needs to go over to here, and this orange would go to the orange side, green to the green side. So that means I need to move these edge pieces in the clockwise formation. So I'm going to follow the algorithm that's for clockwise movement. If I needed to move my cubes in the other direction, then I would follow this counterclockwise pattern. So following the clockwise one, that means I'm going to turn the front face twice clockwise. I'm going to turn the up face once clockwise, left clockwise, right counterclockwise, front clockwise, left counterclockwise, right clockwise, up face goes clockwise, and then 2 turns of the front face, and we have a solved Rubik's Cube.